Hello again, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Cowboys Overtime here on StarTelegram.com. I am Fort Worth Star Telegram columnist Mac Engel. He's Mr. Clarence E. Hill Jr., knower of all things Dallas Cowboys football. I still have my Eclipse glasses on, even though the eclipse was a few days ago. It was an amazing experience. By the way, the reason why I'm still wearing them is because the only pair I could find that Monday morning were these $20 ones. And I'll be damned if I'm not going to get my money's worth. So I'm just going to be wearing these around, I think, for another couple of weeks. So that way my price per wear becomes a lot more cost effective. And then eventually I'll take them off. Clarence, what did you think of the Eclipse?
That was wonderful. I was kind of, I'm not a big science buff or astrology buff, and I was kind of downplaying it, not a big deal. But I went out and watched it. I don't know where you watched that, but they were giving away free glasses. Okay, they were giving away free glasses everywhere.
I know that.
Giving it away. You didn't have to pay $20.
I know. Thank you.
I'm just saying. So I went to Texas Live actually and watched it, and right between the Cowboy Stadium and Lowe's Hotel, perfect view. It was cool. It was a cool thing to see.
It really was. I went out to East Fort Worth, the Tandy Hill natural area. It's normally a spot for like amateur astronomers at nighttime, but I thought, that'll be a good spot. And I had my idea of what this was going to be, and it was great. It blew me away. It was awesome. Everybody's reaction, watching the lights come on, and then the temperature drop. It was just a reminder that when Mother Nature wants to do it, it beats everything else, including your Dallas Cowboys. How about that for a transition, huh?
That was a trend. I just want to say that I had a better day than you because I was at Texas Live and watched the eclipse, had got some food, had a few drinks. Then I stayed over and watched the Rangers game.
Did they win that night?
Huh?
Did they win that night?
They lost the Astros.
They lost the Astros. Oh, that's right. They lost the Astros. I don't know. I had a pretty cool day. I had the best cheeseburger of my life that day. It was a food truck out of Fort Worth. This is not a paid advertisement, although I am available. I also accept bribes. Smoke and Bone. Best cheeseburger I've ever had in my life. Unbelievable. How did I know that? I immediately regretted it when I was done. One thing I won't regret is giving a shout out to our good friends at Window Nation. Man, I am killing it on transitions today. Okay, Clarence, let's get into it since we've talked enough about the eclipse, which, by the way, is coming back any day now. Apparently, there's some drama with our favorite linebacker defensive end, Micah Parsons. You're calling it a non-controversy. Local radio host Sean Sharif last week reported on social media that people at the Star are a little tired of number 11. Quotes. I think there's probably some truth to this, and this is why. Cowboys are coming off a disappointing season, and when you've got your best player visible and he's on social media and he's got a podcast or whatever else, people get tired of it. They just do. If you're not winning, they get tired of it. They're going to find something to whine about. And if he's sitting there woofing and stuff like that, hang on. Then I'm like, yeah, of course there's some truth to it. This happens all the time. Clarence, the floor is yours.
Are there people at Star Telegram you don't like? I mean, you get tired of? I mean, these are minions. I mean, what are we talking about? Who the hell are people? Who the hell are people? If people ain't Mike McCarthy, Mike Zimmer, Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, people don't freaking matter. I know there are people that were tired of Lawrence Taylor. I know there were people who got tired of Charles Haley coming to the meeting room butt naked. Okay? I know there were people that tired of all the controversy around Michael Irvin, okay? There were people tired of that.
Yeah.
They didn't get rid of him.
He's not going
Okay, so
anywhere.
it matters a damn what people are talking about. It's just a useless conversation surrounding the Cowboys. Yeah, name me one top athlete who's not a prima donna, who doesn't, so the day-to-day people, it is what it is. But as long as it's not coming from Jerry, it's not coming from Stephen Jones, Mike McCarthy doesn't feel away. You're trying to win a championship, people. What are we talking about here? What is this? You're right. The Cowboys haven't won. People need something to talk about or whatever else. And this whole notion that some people Michael Parsons may have rubbed some people the wrong way because there's a podcast. I mean, this is the Dallas Cowboys. We're talking about roping, doping, shooting Dallas Cowboys, and we're tired of a damn podcast. What are we doing here?
I don't think people are tired of the podcast. I think what people are tired of is great players. I shouldn't say that. Time out. He's a great talent. He's a really good. He's a great player. He's a great player.
All pro first 3
Yeah,
years.
he's a great player.
Yes.
And I'm telling you the one thing. I was talking about this with somebody the other day about this topic. If I've seen anybody, there's two guys I can think of, Clarence, who really needed or would have benefited from the presence of Bill Parcells after he left. And that was Tony Romo. Tony could have used Bill in his ear for 1 or 2 more years. And I think this guy could. But it's also it's a different generation of player. Everybody's different. But I do think Micah is 56 reincarnated. When I say 56, I'm talking about Lawrence Taylor. And Bill put up with it because the guy could play. And I still think the guy was a cocaine user.
Let's put
while he was playing.
Let's put a pin in that. Yes, Bill Parcells was so great with listen, love Bill Parcells. But Bill Parcells was so great to Lawrence Taylor that he was, doing drugs while he was playing football. Okay.
No doubt about it.
So what I'm saying is, what does Micah need? What does Micah need? I mean, other than teammates and other than players around him to be great.
Okay, I'm with you on that one. Do you think? Let's go back to what we talked about last week, because this to me is a part of that issue tangentially. Do the Cowboys have a culture problem?
No.
Okay,
they have a winning problem.
Really isn't an issue.
They have a winning problem.
Do I think a couple guys are sick of listening to 11? Yeah, I do. I'm sure they are. They were sick.
Okay, are they as good as 11? Are they as valuable as 11?
This is a G-rated show. Well, BG.
Are they as
and I'm not
valuable
allowed
as
to say
11?
the curse words that I want to in front of the word no.
Okay.
No one.
It don't freaking matter.
Is 11? You know what? Is 11 the most talented player on the team?
Yes.
Okay.
Not
So
even close.
my frustration, if I had a frustration with Micah Parsons, it's not his podcast. It's not any of that other stuff. I think this guy can be better than what he is. I think this guy can be Zeus on a football field.
He's 3 years into his career.
That's fine. He can be better.
Why is he not getting better? Who says he's not getting better, not going to get better?
This is what worries me about it. Worries me is that I think he's going to fall in love with sack numbers because sack numbers get you paid. And obviously, if you're getting sack numbers, you're doing something. You're creating havoc. But I still think this guy can be the linebacking defensive end version, what Aaron Donald was to the interior. And Aaron Donald could occupy 3 guys on play. This guy can occupy 2 to 3 guys on a play. And I still think he can be better than what he is. He's a great player. I still think he can be better. I don't care about all this stuff. I don't think anybody else does. But to hear a bunch of guys whining about Micah Parsons being a prima donna or maybe not working hard enough, whatever, that's happened forever. The guy's a freak. Okay? He's a freak. I just think he can be better than what he is. Do you?
I think he's probably on that track to being it. No one expected him to be the best he can be his first year, second year, third year. He's growing into Micah Parsons, who he is. He's growing into himself in the league. It's not like there's already a cap on his game, and we're acting like he can't get better. And the notion that he doesn't work hard is ridiculous.
Well, no, but it's a question of, look, he's young, he's rich, he's famous, he's a great NFL player. He's the man on the Dallas Cowboys. That's a good life. It is.
If this is the worst that can happen, I've lived a pretty good life.
But so I think what I'm saying is
Tony Romo.
Right. So what I'm sitting there thinking about there when I say the guy can be better, I'm like, is he satisfied?
I don't think he's satisfied. I don't think anything about him that says he's satisfied. I mean, again, people are putting stuff on top of stuff that was BS in the first place. I mean, it is utterly ridiculous that we're having these conversations. That people are now, predicting, well, the Cowboys should trade Micah Parsons. I mean, the Cowboys are not trading Micah Parsons.
They're not trading him. But they're not,
and they're going to pay him. And they're not in the notion that this stuff is coming out from Sean Sharif is not the Cowboys trying to not paying him, trying to sour his name. He's going to get paid. He's going to get paid more. At the highest of any defender in the NFL history. This is much ado about nothing.
I think there's one thread to this that interests me. They're paying him. The agent's doing his job, right? I mean, he's going to
Aiden's
hold
not
out.
doing anything right now, but I mean, what are you talking about?
No, what I mean is anybody sitting there complaining about Micah Parsons doing the X, Y, or Z for money, this is a money game. And if he's sitting there doing that, that means he's doing his job. I don't have any problem about that. I think when my opinion about this comes from talking to his high school coach a year or two ago and having this sort of realization that talent-wise, I sometimes think these guys, and I've covered maybe 5 of them, they don't even realize how good they are because they've been that good since they were 2. They walked on any field, any court, in Micah Parsons' case, any wrestling mat, and he was better than anybody else ever. And he keeps doing that. And I'm like, oh my God, this guy can be better than what he is. I don't even know if he realizes it. And how do you realize something that, how do you realize that when you've been this good at everything since you were 2?
Just talking to him and his conversations, he knows how good he is. You know,
Right.
and he wants to be great. He's a competitor. He's a competitor. He's very competitive. He wants to be great. You know, he wants to get paid. He wants all the trappings to come with it. But, you know, it's mind-boggling to me that it's all based on the outcome of the season. I mean, in everything.
Oh, it's the Clarence. Let's be
everything
it's
is
based on the outcome of the playoff game. That's it.
Yeah.
Not the
that's
season.
That's the season. That's the outcome of the season. That's when the season ended. But yeah, I mean, that's just semantics. But it's all based on that. And you know, again, somehow, you know, whether it's Dak, whether it's Micah, whether it's CeeDee, talk about transition, you know, they gonna get paid. They're not going anywhere.
No, I totally agree with you. And so let's transition to CeeDee Lamb. And first of all, you're like, why are we talking about this? You're the one who gave me the topics. So this is your fault. Okay, Clarence, you have said that you thought in terms of the contracts coming up for the Cowboys that CeeDee Lamb's extension will be done first ahead of anybody else. Now, because what are we in April? Yes, we're in April now. Now maybe he won't do anything and become a free agent. I personally think they're going to get this done based on what you told me. And typically you're right about these things. They're going to get this done before week 1 of the regular season. Right or wrong?
Yeah, but the question here is this. You know, he's going to be with the Cowboys this year. Okay, he's under contract. You know, they have the 5th-year option on it. The thing that's of note right now is that there's a question whether CeeDee will come in and be a part of the offseason program. Right, wait, no. Yes. Okay, because he's on the 5th-year option. The time to strike is now. You see all these guys getting their contracts. You know, he has a $17.9 million guaranteed contract coming into next year. What he's expected to get is close to $30 million in free agent dollars. Okay, $30 million annually. You know, and I don't see a reason why CeeDee would come in and participate in the offseason program. He might come in and do the Zach Martin doing OTA. I mean, doing minicamp and show up but not practice. But there's no reason for him to come in until they get the deal done. You know, don't go out there and get hurt or whatever else when you got a $30 million annual contract on the line here.
I think one of the more overrated stories that I have recognized over the years is the veteran who skips OTAs or minicamp. I mean, they've reduced all of these things to glorified walkthroughs, and what they really are is the NFL team trying to justify paying all these guys an exorbitant amount of money while they do nothing in the offseason, even though they stay in shape. Staying in shape is a year-round.
They work out year-round.
They're working out, but they're working out year-round, Clarence, but they're working out wherever they want, and no one's coming into camp fat. No one's coming into camp out of shape or any of that other stuff. They don't really need to do some of this stuff. And since now, more than ever, across all levels of football, you're rewarded. The priority now is to not play football until you absolutely have to play football. I don't know why he would do it anyways. I mean, you're not going to gain – whatever you're going to gain out of it isn't worth the risk.
Team bonding, is camaraderie, is putting in. You got teams with new offenses, new coaches, new defense coordinator.
Yeah, but this one doesn't.
Huh?
This one doesn't.
This one has a new defense coordinator. Yes, it
Yeah,
does.
they do. Yeah, but I'm talking about CeeDee Lamb as this relates.
Yeah. I mean, this is the offense, but I'm talking about why teams in general do it. I mean, this is the time you learn things. But yeah, there's a question about whether he shows up. But there's no question about him being on the team this year and playing for the Cowboys this year. It's just a matter of when they get the deal done.
Since we're in April, and this is the time of year when every NFL team has to navigate a series of storylines that 90% of the time aren't even close to true, but they're fun to talk about. So let's delve into this one. The Dallas Cowboys already have 3 quarterbacks under contract for 2024. Dak Prescott, apparently he's going to be the quarterback. Cooper Rush, the greatest backup quarterback since Don Strock, and the Dallas Cowboys' future number 1 quarterback. I'm talking, of course, about Trey Lance, whom they gave up a 4th-round pick in this year's draft class to the San Francisco 49ers last fall to obtain his services so they could watch him sit on the bench. Now the talk is, I don't even know where this one came from.
Adam Schefter yesterday said the Cowboys are dark horse to draft a quarterback.
Oh, who cares?
And it makes no
a guy in the
sense.
7th round, it doesn't count. Guys aren't going to make the team. Okay, I'm giving you this one. I'm going to hang up and listen. Are the Cowboys going to take a quarterback?
No. I mean, first of all, this is Mike McCarthy's quote-unquote prove-it year. They didn't sign anybody in free agency. They need to use other draft picks to help improve this roster. They just gave up a 4th-round pick, important pick. Dak Prescott was drafted in the 4th round for Trey Lance. They have a quarterback that they drafted for the future with a 4th-round pick in Trey Lance. Okay? The other picks, they don't have a lot of picks. They have 7 total picks. They need to be used toward improving this roster, guys that can play. They're not wasting a pick on a quarterback this year. That makes no sense.
Totally agree. You know what makes a lot of sense? Having your windows done by Window Nation, who we're going to hear from now.
Window Nation, the star of window replacement and proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys, can help you fill the house this season with savings. Buy 2 windows, get 2 free, and make no interest payments for 60 months, 5 full years. Fill your house for a customized authentic Dallas Cowboys jersey while supplies last. You could even help fill the Cowboys house and win tickets to a game. Visit windownation.com/Cowboys now for details. Call 866-95-NATION. Window Nation, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
All right. Thank you very much, Window Nation. Back here on StarTelegram.com, Cowboys Overtime. He's Clarence Hill. I'm Mac Engel. Okay, we're going to be done talking about the Cowboys because we have 2 teams. Kenny, we're a little early on that one, but let's go into it anyways. We have 2 teams getting ready to go into the postseason here locally that are crushing it. Dallas Stars in first place have over 100 points. Which is usually a death sign for NHL teams going into the playoffs. And the Dallas Mavericks have locked up probably the 4th or 5th, the first round playoff, either as the 4th or 5th seed. They could still catch the LA Clippers. It was a little more than a month ago, March 5th, the Dallas Mavericks got run out of their own building by the Indiana Pacers for the 2nd time in about 10 days. They lost their 5th and 6th games. They looked terrible. And Jason Kidd sat there in front of us, defended himself, was like, you guys are overreacting. We got plenty of time to get this right. Since then, he's been proven 100% correct. Mavericks have come together. Luka Doncic is killing it. He's not going to win the MVP, even though they probably should. And Kyrie Irving, his running buddy, looks like the Kyrie Irving of Cleveland and Boston rather than Brooklyn. Clarence says, I need to apologize to both of these guys, to which I say, not no, but hell no. I'm not apologizing to one of these guys because Clarence did what I wrote.
It's
I
what?
didn't fire Jason Kidd.
You tried to run Jason Kidd out of town. And I just Googled a story, Mac Engel, February 7th this year. Kyrie as a Maverick has netted not much.
He hadn't at the time when I wrote it.
Real winner in this deal is the Nets, not the Mavericks.
No, wait, but you missed that. The winner on the deal was Kyrie.
That's what you know.
It was Kyrie because he got paid. The Nets got a bunch of draft picks that don't matter anymore. And the Mavericks got a superstar who wouldn't do anything at the time because he was always hurt. Now he's not hurt, and these guys are crushing it. And this is why Kyrie Irving in Dallas works better than he did in Boston or Brooklyn, because Dallas treats basketball way behind football. If Kyrie Irving was a football player and played for the Cowboys, that dude would be getting killed. And you know it. just the way he was in Boston and he was in Brooklyn. But Deere, you can run and be semi-anonymous and have fun and make a ton of money, play basketball along the best player in the world, one of them, and you're happy because he's not getting nearly the amount of attention and scrutiny that he got on the East Coast, because being a basketball player in this state is cake compared to being a football player. And now they are killing it. Those 2 trades that they made at the deadline, give Nico Harrison and Mark Cuban a lot of credit. Daniel Gafford has been really good. PJ Washington has been really good. If Derek Lively is healthy, this team can really make a run. I think their high end is the West Finals. I don't think they're good enough to beat Denver. I don't think anybody's good enough to beat Jokic in Denver right now and Jamal Murray. I think those guys are just on a different level. But you can tell me why I'm wrong. The floor is yours.
I mean, I remember you saying basically, Kid was an empty shirt. He wasn't doing anything.
I never said, oh, no.
They need to move on. I do, Cowboys Mavericks not getting much for Kyrie Irving and all the other stuff. And, just going back to last year, you got to give it a chance. They gave it a chance. Kyrie Irving and Luka may be the most talented backcourt in NBA right now. They may be one of the most gifted and talented backcourts we've ever seen.
Oh,
based on what
you can make a case. You can make a case right now that with Luka starting to enter prime years and Kyrie still in that prime window near the end, but still in it, this looks like LeBron and Kyrie when they were together in Cleveland. And I know that's heavy praise, but they are that dynamic.
And the question now bears, is Kyrie and Luka better than Luka and Brunson? Because that was you can't really get rid of Brunson. Look what Brunson's doing in New York. They should have kept Brunson. I think this is a better match because Brunson needs the ball in his hands to thrive and be what he is. Like Luka needs the ball. Brunson is ball dominant.
Jalen, I don't think was ever going to be what he
with Luka.
No, it was the same problem that Steve Nash had when he was with Dirk. When you have great players who they need the ball, they just need the ball more. And I think Jalen's success in New York is more a product of the fact that New York needs him to be what he can be, whereas Dallas didn't need that. They needed it on some level, but he was never going to be what he's become here in Dallas. He's such a great guy, Brunson is, and I was crushed when they let him go. They didn't keep him because he was a pro's pro who got it, who was smart, and I'm like, you just don't find those guys on trees. And he would have understood his role forever. And that was the part that bummed me out. Now, I understand why it happened. The Mavs screwed it up. There's no other way around it. The thing that concerns me about Kyrie, one, he's proven everybody wrong, me included, because he hasn't been a pain. The attitude and all that stuff and the whining that he did in Boston and a little bit in Cleveland and certainly in Brooklyn, that hasn't been a part of it. The guy's a little bit older, and he clearly has some space to be himself. And I think also it reminds me a little bit of Rasheed Wallace remember what a hothead Rasheed was when he was younger, and they couldn't put him anywhere because he couldn't keep his emotions in check. Well, then he goes to Detroit near the end, the latter part of his career. He was great. He's the biggest reason they won the title with Larry Brown because he'd grown up and he'd chilled out. And now you look at Kyrie, and this is a guy who clearly looks like he gets it. The question I have for Kyrie is this guy hits the deck a lot, and can he stay healthy? If he can stay healthy, I think this is a West Finals team. Do you?
No, I definitely think it's a West Finals team, and I just think that they just have something magical about them that on any given Sunday, I mean, they can do something to put them over the top. So I think they're a championship contender this year. I think that what they've done, certainly getting Gafford and what they got in the middle is so much better on defense now. The little Mavericks may have something in store for us.
Well, their first round series, it looks like it's going to be a Clippers, and that's the team that's given them the most problems since Luka's come here. They've beaten them. They defeated them in consecutive years in the first round. The first series wasn't as competitive. The second series was terrific. It went 7 games before Dallas lost. It's obvious these are obviously different teams, but the Clippers have 3 guys who could probably score 35 points easily if they didn't have to share the ball. Paul George, James Harden, and Kawhi Leonard. If Dallas plays the Clippers in the first round, that's a matchup. Do you think Dallas beats them?
Oh, I think they do. I just think they do. I just think Dallas is no team has been better than Dallas since the All-Star break. And you look at what they've done and the way Luka and Kyrie are playing right now. It's going to be interesting. I just think that they will be in the West Finals against Denver for sure.
Ooh, all right. So let's go to the next one. Clarence has the Mavs as title contenders. You got them as title contenders?
Yeah, I think so. I think they're legitimate title contenders based on just the stuff we've been talking about. The way Luka and the way Kyrie are playing, the chemistry. I mean, it's a chemistry. The hug, he and Luka. After the shot the other night, he got the team together. They just like playing with each other. You just like to see what they're doing, and I just think that they're ready.
I think they're a year away. And here's why. I think typically in these playoff series, you've got one or two matchups that they're going to get exploited. I think they're outside shooting with, Dante Exum has been a wild card for that team. And if he's right, he gives them something, but he's got to be healthy. If he's healthy, he gives them some flexibility on the perimeter that they don't have without him. Tim Hardaway Jr., I think, has hit his ceiling. I think if they could, they would trade him. Obviously, that's an off-season thing. He's got to hit his shot. He has got to hit his shot because he's not a very good defender. He's not a very good ball handler, but they're going to have him on the floor. I think they'll beat the Clippers in the first round because I think they play better defense. I don't think any of those guys, as long as Paul George is, James Harden doesn't guard anybody. Kawhi Leonard's going to be a problem. If he's healthy, he's going to be a problem. But to me, as we talk as title contenders, to me, this is Boston's show. It is Denver's show. And I got to say Milwaukee's still obviously at the top of the food chain on that one because of Giannis. You're not buying it?
I mean, Milwaukee is not. I just don't know. I don't know if they can just flip the switch. I mean, they haven't flipped the switch.
Do you think they've coasted too much this season?
Huh?
Do you think they've coasted too much this season?
I don't think they've coasted. I just think there's something amiss. I mean, I don't think it's an issue of them coasting. I just don't know if they can flip the switch. I know what they've done the past couple of years, who they've been, and but they're not the same team that won the title a couple of years ago. And I don't think that they're close to what Boston is in the East. And I think Philly, with Embiid coming back, they have a chance to get right. I just don't see Milwaukee is what they are. Like they are.
I just don't. I know Miami slipped through last year, and Jimmy Butler's great. And then they got to Denver, and they got smacked. I mean, Denver. I just think Denver right now with Jokic. I don't know who in the West. Oklahoma City's got Chet Holmgren, but Chet's really young. I don't know who matches up with Jokic. I don't know how you do that.
You just got to beat them. You got to beat them.
You just got to beat them down the floor. I mean, you just speed the game.
You got to beat them in spite of Jokic if you're going to beat them. But no one matches. I mean, he's the best all around player. And should win back-to-back MVPs if not Luka. And I think Luka, is certainly a viable MVP candidate.
Remember the days when Euro winning the MVP was like ridiculous? Now these guys are walking the league and just killing it. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay,
You're talking about Dirk.
I am talking about Dirk. Some guys before that, but certainly Dirk is a big one. Okay. Clarence, thank you very much for your time. For all your Cowboys coverage needs, Dallas Mavericks 2 playoffs are coming up. Check us out on StarTelegram.com. Thank you, Window Nation. We will see you next week.